Audio's always an issue. I'm not really sure what's going on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, folks, how about now? Can you hear me? Always an audio issue here on what is essentially my Monday. But bingo, bongo. We're good. We're good. Yeah, it was doing that weird clipping issue that we had before and sounded like something very inappropriate. But we're here. We're here. We have audio. Just waiting for the NASA broadcast to go live and I'll start sharing it. But good to see Matt, Andrew, and the crew who are going down to Cherry Springs. Best of luck to you guys. Hope you guys have a blast down there. Let's see if the broadcast is live. So, what I was saying before, we're here hanging out for the live reveal of the astronauts who will be flying on Orion to dock with the spacecraft on board that will be used to land on the moon. All right, there's our live broadcast. Nope, that's the stream from. They might not be live yet. Yeah, they're not live yet. Okay, so we're just chilling. We're waiting. How's everybody's week going so far? It's basically my Monday here, and it's a very good weekend in New York. Had a blast. Was there for my cousin's wedding. It was beautiful. We were in Poughkeepsie. I saw the very best wallpaper. Check that out. Alien abduction wallpaper. It was awesome. That was a very cool room. Yeah, Andrew here's saying, curious who the pilot will be. Very crucial stuff. Absolutely. You know, it was interesting. Victor Glover did such a great job as the pilot for Artemis 2. It's kind of hard to to think about anybody else who would be the pilot. So I'm very interested to see who this crew is, how many rookies are going to be on board, because I believe the astronaut corps has a few rookies that they could choose from. But it's going to be interesting. If you've got any predictions for who you think is going to be on this Artemis 3 crew, definitely let me know in the chat. You know, we on the Space Talkers podcast we did live last week, you know, we were kind of all talking about the different scenarios that could happen. Like even the scenario in which maybe Artemis 2 astronauts end up on Artemis 4 to actually land on the moon. There's so much that could happen. All right, where is? Sorry, folks. Now I've got a frog in my throat. Just in time for the live broadcast. But don't worry, we're gonna get the stream up for you in just a second here. Where are you, NASA? Okay, so it doesn't look like they're streaming it on X, which was my first thought. There we go. Here we go. Let's do this. No, it's not that page. There we go. Ooh, I love that. Here we might be seeing our first ESA astronaut in the Artemis program. That would be awesome. Let's get some audio, shall we?
Good morning, and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. I'm Vanessa White, Director of NASA's Johnson Space Center, and it's my pleasure to be here with you today. We're about to unveil the agency's Artemis III mission and introduce you to the extraordinary crew who will lead humanity's next steps toward the moon.
Yes.
We will have several speakers providing updates on Artemis III mission profile, Artemis acceleration plans, and mission science. Get ready for an inside look at innovation, ambition, and the future of space exploration. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman.
Let's go, Jared.
Thank you, Vanessa. I am so grateful to be here with all of you as we discuss the Artemis program and announce the 4 astronauts who will undertake this very exciting mission. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the leadership of President Donald Trump, the incredible bipartisan support from Congress, our international partners, including the European Space Agency Director, General Josef Aschbacher, Italian Consul General Mauro Lorenzi, and the talent across all NASA centers and the most technologically advanced aerospace industry in the world. All of you are contributing meaningfully to this undertaking and helping us achieve what is such a daring and inspiring and world-changing endeavor. We are returning to the moon, a grand adventure back to the lunar surface to build a moon base and to do so for all of its scientific, its economic potential, and to master the skills for where we will inevitably go next. The incredible crew of Artemis II was just the beginning, and they did an absolutely outstanding job. As a test mission, they were the first to launch on the SLS rocket and test the Orion spacecraft. Reed Wiseman, Victor
100%.
Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen showed us the moon again, and they showed us the Earth again. They helped reinvigorate the world's interest in space exploration. And now, just as Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo crews that came before them, Artemis II will pass along all they have learned and hand the torch to Artemis III. Over the next year, they will train for their mission, ensure the lessons learned from the prior crew are implemented, and assist in the development of the landers and operational procedures that will be necessary for their colleagues on future Artemis missions. Artemis III will be an extraordinary demonstration of what is possible when the greatest aerospace companies across the United States, alongside our European partners, come together to showcase the technological might and ambition of the free world. When their training and development are complete, these 4 astronauts will strap into their spacecraft. You will witness the contributions of Boeing, United Launch Alliance, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, L3Harris, and Airbus, and many others come together as the SLS rocket ignites the Artemis III crew and sends them into low Earth orbit.
Woo!
Additional powerful rockets will launch to place the Blue Origin and SpaceX Starship landers into orbit. Throughout the duration of the Artemis III mission, these astronauts will continue to test the Orion spacecraft. They will rendezvous and dock with the Blue Origin lander, and then again with the SpaceX lander. Think about how many spacecraft, all of which will eventually carry human beings, will be in orbit at the same time. From Dragon, Shenzhou, Soyuz, possibly Starliner, Starship, and Blue Origin landers. This seems like the beginning of the future that we imagined as children. This seems like the very beginning of Earth's first Starfleet to me. We'll use Artemis III to get into the rhythm of multi-launch campaigns, test the interoperability across several systems while close to home, learn and improve, and inform the changes necessary when the torch will be passed once again. Now, preparations for Artemis III are already underway. The NASA team, our contractors, and our partners will start stacking SLS this summer with the aim of beginning early wet dress testing before the end of the year. Okay. The interested public will be able to follow along through all the key NASA milestones, along with Blue Origin and SpaceX as they launch uncrewed tests of their reusable rockets, gather data, implement improvements, and converge upon the Artemis 3 readiness no earlier than this time next year. In parallel, we will not slow down. The expectation of your NASA should be that we can pursue and achieve many extraordinary objectives at once. In a matter of weeks, we will host another moon-based event. To set expectations, we plan to issue awards and provide updates routinely. In the not-too-distant future, we will be tuning in on the moon-based website, watching landers and rovers and moonfall hopper drones and other tech demonstrations and science payloads landing on a near-monthly basis as we practice the science of survival on the lunar surface. Alongside industry and our Artemis Accords partners, we will experiment with power, navigation, surface mobility, communications, and other critical systems as we learn what does and does not work in the extreme environment of the lunar South Pole. Now, coming up later this summer, America's next great exploration asset, the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, will launch and venture out nearly 1 million miles into space with the aim of further unlocking the secrets of the universe. And there are further big science missions like Near-Earth Object Surveyor, Rosalind Franklin, and Dragonfly coming up on deck. Now, to realize the spacefaring future, we will work tirelessly to ignite an orbital and someday, perhaps even a lunar economy, working alongside industry to usher in the first commercial space stations. In the months ahead, we will invest in high-temperature materials, power conversion, radiators, advanced space structures, and assemble the first fission-powered interplanetary spacecraft. Before the end of 2028, we will launch the first mission of what should be many more to follow as SR-1 Freedom finally gets America underway on nuclear power in space and delivers the Skyfall payload to Mars. The X-59 team has already passed the sound barrier, and we are well on our way to rebuilding the X-plane portfolio with greater investment in faster and higher capabilities as we aim to blur the line between in and out of atmospheric flight.
I do love that he's an air and space guy. As I've said many times, your NASA team will not sit on the sidelines and wait for all these exciting initiatives to be realized. We are embedding SMEs across the supply chain, doing the kind of engineering and building necessary to deliver the outcomes only NASA is capable of achieving. We can
do this all while the Artemis 3 crew prepare for and undertake their important mission, while the rest of the astronaut corps plan for their missions ahead, including the vital work on the International Space Station. The NASA astronauts, alongside our international partners and tens of thousands of the best and brightest across the agency and industry, are ushering in the golden age of discovery. They are carrying forward the hopes and dreams of the next generation, just as the Apollo astronauts did for so many of us. When Gene Cernan left the lunar surface on Apollo 17, he said, "We leave as we came, and God willing, we shall return with peace and hope for all mankind." Now, it's taken a little bit longer than he may have imagined, but we are returning, and we do so with the experience of Apollo, the lessons of Artemis 2, the crew now of Artemis 3, and the promise of what lies ahead, and our collective effort to build out humanity's first outpost on another world. So to the Artemis 3 crew, we wish you Godspeed on the journey ahead. You carry the fire of exploration from generations past, the confidence of this agency and the support of this nation, and the dreams of millions who will be cheering you on, knowing that what others believe to be impossible happens to be what we do best here at NASA. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Artemis generation. And now I'll turn it over to Jeremy Parsons for an Artemis 3 update.
Super exciting. I cannot tell. I feel like the Artemis 3 crew is sitting next to the Artemis 2 crew, but I could be wrong, but that's my guess. We'll see if I'm right.
Good morning. It's great to be here with you and to be part of the excitement as we progress forward towards Artemis 3 and our future missions to the lunar surface. Since adding the Artemis 3 test flight before our first crewed moon landing, our team is focused on developing the mission to test about as much as we can how we operate with our commercial partners across systems, teams, software, and hardware.
Oh, they're going to drag out this reveal. I love it.
Difficult environment of space. We want to do this in Earth's orbit before we return to the moon and establish an enduring presence there. We demonstrated to the world during Artemis 2 that we can fly our astronauts around the moon and bring them home safely. The mission gave us insight into performance across all of our systems, how our teams operate together with crew in the deep space environment, thousands of miles from home. That is why we do test flights. We learned. We found things we needed to improve, and our teams are already hard at work solving those issues to make Orion even more capable. Across the Artemis 2 campaign, one of the biggest things we demonstrated is that testing like we fly puts us in the best position for success. Artemis 3 is an opportunity to take those lessons and apply them. It enables us to test in space how we will fly on future missions. As the first crewed Artemis mission with commercial spacecraft, this test flight will enable us to prove we can carry out highly choreographed operations with our partners across hardware, interfaces, software, propulsion systems, and life support elements.
It's a double
with crew
docking
in
event,
the
which is
high
kind of
space
crazy.
environment. Are we able to launch in sequence with our partners across multiple launch pads and meet up at precise points in space? How do our spacecraft designed and built across NASA and different partners operate together in an integrated way in an unforgiving environment? We will learn how to fly these new spacecraft with new software, new life support systems. Every aspect of Artemis 3 will give us insight into how to refine our plans for Artemis 4 and beyond and buy down risk. The mission, together with the uncrewed lander demonstrations to the moon, is specifically designed and targeted to the most significant risk for a lunar landing. We have many partners involved in making Artemis 3 successful, and while we recognize there are questions about how Blue Origin's recent anomaly impacts our plans, setbacks are a learning opportunity. We are confident that New Glenn will be ready for Artemis 3, together with Blue Origin, but NASA is stepping in and bringing all of our expertise and capabilities to bear. We are working hand in hand with them to meet our commitments to return our nation to the moon. Let me assure you, NASA is taking an active role with all of our partners, contractors, and vendors to help solve the problems that are here today and ensure the right outcomes are achieved. These companies have unparalleled access not only to our agency experts, but also to our test facilities, launch support, technology development at all of the NASA centers across the country. Fundamentally, our approach to Artemis 3 will remain the same. We will use this mission to reduce risk for our future crewed moon missions with lander test articles from both Blue Origin and SpaceX to ensure we will beat China back to the moon. So we've talked about accelerating the Artemis cadence, and so I wanted to share with you a little about how the pieces of Artemis 3 are coming together. Our partners are making great progress in lander development. SpaceX's recent flight of its version 3 Starship demonstrated key aspects of their architecture and lander designs, and they are already applying those lessons to their next flight test. Blue Origin's Mark 1 lander recently completed vacuum testing here at Johnson Space Center. We have a training cabin that's been set up. Astronauts are actively working through that training. The Orion Crew Module and its European-built service module are on track to be integrated together this summer, including the new docking system, which will fly for the first time on Artemis 3. Our improved heat shield has been fully inspected and is ready to be installed.
Look at that hardware.
We are going to bring updated communication technologies to our missions, including adding optical communication to the spacecraft to improve our data exchange between Orion and the ground. We expect that to enhance what the public can see during the mission. SLS core stage processing is well underway inside the Vehicle Assembly Building at Kennedy Space Center. It arrived there in April, and teams have already mated the 2 segments of the core stage and will install the 4 RS-25 engines later this summer.
Yes.
Design and fabrication of a spacer that will replace the upper stage on Artemis 3, because we're flying in low Earth orbit, is already in fabrication at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama. And for the ground systems, when we talk about acceleration, one of the best examples I've seen is that just 17 days after the launch of Artemis 2, the mobile launcher was back in the Vehicle Assembly Building, well underway with refurbishment and preparations for stacking. Our teams are getting ready too. The launch team at Kennedy Space Center began conducting launch countdown simulations in May, which include practicing procedures to load propellant into SLS, as well as for launch countdown. At Johnson, mission segments are being simulated and crew training is well underway. Our spacesuit provider, Axiom Space, is making great progress as well. We have suit testing ongoing regularly at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab down the road here in Houston. Pressure garments worn under the suit are fully assembled and undergoing testing, and the components of the suit's primary life support system are in hand and being integrated. We are going to fly the spacesuit aboard the International Space Station to check it out in 2027, and we will perform hardware interface checkouts on at least 1 lander in a spacesuit during Artemis 3. Again, this is an area where NASA is taking an active hand. We want to accelerate these deliveries, this hardware, and we're embedding NASA engineers across the board with Axiom and with partners in order to yank schedules to the left. All of this culminates in a mission where for Artemis 3, the hardware is real, and we are going to begin stacking SLS rocket hardware this summer. This fall, we plan to roll out a shortened SLS stack with Orion on top. We want to test improved cryogenic seals and put our launch team through their paces.
Smart.
Keep the training proficiency up. With an increased mission cadence, we're bringing everything we can to ramp up production and drive supply chain improvements across the key components of Artemis and across the United States. We are also moving aggressively to implement modifications to Orion that enable a broader range of lunar missions after Artemis 3. This includes looking how Orion can rendezvous in Earth orbit with Starship and use that ship to push Orion to a lunar orbit. So I shared where the hardware is, but let me talk a little bit more about what we expect Artemis 3 to look like. Artemis 3 is an incredibly exciting, complicated, and highly coordinated multi-launch campaign. It's going to happen in a short period of time with 3 of the world's most powerful rockets. It will begin with the launch of Blue Origin's lander test article, which can loiter up into space for up to 90 days. This gives us flexibility to launch our crew of 4 and Orion on the powerful Space Launch System launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The crew will fly their journey in low Earth orbit on a circular trajectory around Earth. Orion and the Blue Origin lander design will rendezvous in space, spending about 2 days in docked operations, conducting test technology demonstrations, including inside of Blue Origin spacecraft. More importantly, we intend to dock, perform integrated stack control, have crew cross the hatch, operate the lander, and get critical test of the life support systems that can only be done in space.
That's so wild.
This gives our teams key information on systems the lunar lander crew will depend on in an environment close to home versus 4+ days away around the moon. After docked operations, Orion will detach and await Starship. SpaceX's Starship lander test article will launch and meet up with Orion and our crew. Orion and Starship will dock, be connected together for about a day before the crew transitions to preparations for returning home, splashing down in the Pacific Ocean to a waiting recovery team made up of the US Navy and NASA. In total, we expect the mission to last around 2 weeks.
Wow.
This mission is deliberately designed to take calculated risks so that future crews will be safer and ultimately successful when we put boots on the lunar surface. The complexity of our integrated operations across multiple launches, spacecraft, rendezvous, docking is greater in many ways than Artemis 2. NASA, together with our partners, thrives in these challenging situations. Each of us are coming together for success. Human spaceflight is not for those who want to chart an easy course, but every decision we make about Artemis 3 will be informed about how it can help us ensure our mission success for the lunar surface. Artemis 2 reminded the world what we can do when we move together with clarity, discipline, and shared purpose. What the world saw was a successful mission. What we saw behind the scenes was years of coordination, planning, testing, problem solving, and collaboration with industry partners and government organizations. We are going to apply that same focus for Artemis 3, and our teams are ready. To our crew, thank you for taking on this responsibility to train and fly for Artemis 3. You have our commitment that we will do everything possible to keep you safe as you enable us to push the boundaries of space exploration. I'll now turn things over to John Caloris of Blue Origin.
Man, the level of leadership and communication has just gone through the roof for NASA. I love what they're doing. It's much more professional and feels like everyone is on the same page.
Thank you. As you know, we had a significant anomaly at our Launch Complex 36A on May 28th.
I bet you John
The
Caloris
response
is
from
free.
NASA, our partners, and customers has been extraordinary. We're making excellent progress on the investigation and pad cleanup. We'll begin rebuilding once cleanup is complete, while continuing construction at Launch Complex 36B. Blue Origin's lunar engineering and production teams are continuing the pace for production of Mark 1 landers for Moonbase and for Artemis vehicles, with multiple serial numbers in build.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Mark 1 serial number 1 testing will conclude soon and will be ready for launch this year. The mission will demonstrate key components of our Artemis landers, such as our BE-7 engine. Artemis 3 is a major step that fills important objectives prior to our uncrewed landing on the moon in 2028, followed by our landing of astronauts that same year. On this mission, NASA and Blue Origin will demonstrate rendezvous, docking, hatch operations, ingress, and life support systems in low Earth orbit.
Cool.
This will allow the crew to gain familiarity with our lunar crew module and even practice operations such as suit donning in zero gravity. Manufacturing is well underway on the Artemis 3 Mark II lunar crew module, our storable reaction control system, our docking systems, and our environmental control and life support system. Our factories are running around-the-clock shifts in a responsible manner. Our vertical integration capabilities continue to produce hardware that feeds the production floor. We work very closely with NASA on engineering and testing support with more to come. We expect to complete the vehicle for Artemis 3 and be ready for launch in 2027. Blue Origin is very motivated to be part of the journey of returning humans to the moon. We've redoubled our efforts and are moving forward. I'm thrilled that we're just moments away from announcing NASA's Artemis 3 crew. I'd like to also say that the moon is the 8th continent, and we will measure ourselves not only by our successes, but how we respond to setbacks. With that, I'd like to introduce my friend, Jessica Jensen from SpaceX.
Friend, I never thought I'd heard that. That's amazing. Good news. I like that they're playing well together.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Jensen, and on behalf of SpaceX, I want to first say early congratulations to the astronauts who will get to fly on this awesome mission next year. And thank you for the critical role you're about to play in pushing humanity forward. I also want to say that SpaceX is incredibly honored, as always, to continue to be a part of NASA's most critical missions as we all work together to establish a permanent human presence on the moon. I'm here today to give an update on Starship's development towards Artemis 3 and Artemis 4.
Please.
We've made substantial progress towards developing Starship and preparing for the NASA HLS missions. We just flew our 12th flight test and successfully debuted version 3, or V3, of the Starship and Super Heavy booster, along with the new Raptor 3 engines and a new launch pad, all of which were developed through years of ground and flight testing. We are currently building several ships and boosters in parallel at Starbase, and we are actively building out 3 more Starship launch pads in Florida and Texas. We believe this, combined with full reusability, is going to lead to unprecedented launch rates and achieving aircraft-like operations, which has always been our goal. The V3 design of Starship is planned to be the vehicle for propellant transfer, our uncrewed missions to the moon, and for the HLS crewed lunar landing. Our HLS design and operations leverage years of proven experience from our NASA crew and cargo missions to the space station, from our high flight rate on Falcon 9, which is currently once every 2.5 days, and from reusability of Falcon fairings and boosters. Additionally, the docking hardware we're using for HLS is nearly identical to what we use currently on Dragon, and many of the rendezvous and proximity sensors that we're going to use for prop transfer and HLS have been flying on Dragon missions for many years. We're also actively building our first flight fidelity Starship HLS cabin at Starbase. The primary structure is assembled and prepared to be outfitted with key functional systems like avionics, power, life support systems, and more to come in the next few months. Later this year, we are targeting our in-space ship-to-ship propellant transfer demonstration. This is a core technology that will enable Starship to land humans and massive amounts of cargo on the moon. Then next year, we'll support Artemis 3 and the planned rendezvous and docking with Orion in low Earth orbit. For that mission, we're going to be using a V3 vehicle off the line with an added docking adapter. We are also marching towards our V3 Starship uncrewed lunar landing. This is another HLS milestone that will further demonstrate propellant aggregation in space and also a safe and autonomous landing on the surface of the moon. Then looking ahead to Artemis 4, we're continuing to develop all the crewed systems and certification necessary for the safe landing and return of astronauts to Orion.
They changed.
We have an updated plan with NASA that includes docking Starship with Orion in Earth orbit instead of NRHO, and then we use Starship to actually do the translunar injection with Orion attached.
That rendering is updated.
Then it will send them both to low lunar orbit before the landing. This approach improves crew safety by first conducting the critical docking event in Earth orbit, just like we're going to practice in Artemis 3. And the crew can also abort off the lunar surface nearly any time versus waiting up to days from NRHO. In addition to improving crew safety, these new Artemis 4 orbits also significantly lower the amount of propellant Starship needs to aggregate in space, since we now just have a more direct route to the moon. And this lowers schedule risk overall.
I love that choice.
We're incredibly excited to help return humans to the moon once again, and this time to stay. Thank you.
Oh my God. Let's see if we get the crew announcement.
I will turn it over to Dr. Nikki Fox, head of NASA Science. She's going to talk about Artemis 3 science.
Yes, Andrew, we definitely need to go. You, Caitlin, Matt, and I, we should all meet up down there. That would be incredible. And now, for the announcement.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Well, while Artemis 2 was all about moon joy, Artemis 3 will be all about Earth joy. We will be studying the route from Earth, and our Artemis 3 crew will be our mission scientists. Since Artemis 3 is a technical mission, the science we will be doing will look just a little bit different. We will study Earth's atmosphere, the environment around Orion during the mission, and the impact of space's influence within the Orion capsule. We're going to use this flight to buy down our risk for landed missions by developing our science processes, procedures, and readiness specifically for Orion to ensure the health and safety of our astronauts and spacecraft for our future Artemis missions. And the best way to do it is by taking real data that is uniquely enabled by this mission. For this technical and complex mission, we will focus on how we can better work with the unique Orion capsule and test and establish the necessary groundwork prior to landing on the mission with Artemis 4. With Artemis 3, we will initiate the preparation phase of packing our interplanetary survival guide with the necessary knowledge, equipment, and roadmap needed to plant astronaut boots back on the lunar surface to stay. Think of it this way. If you're going on a road trip, you need to know before you go, ahead of time, and prepare with a game plan, not just for your destination, but for driving through all of the states in between. Weather.
Just
Will
like a
there
road
be
trip to
bad
Florida.
weather? Is your car ready for the trip? What do you need to pack for maximum comfort? And most importantly, will it all actually fit into the car? Leading SMD's Artemis 3 science team is Dr. Barbara Cohen. Barbara's team will be gathering the necessary information now so we can be ready for Artemis 4 to begin that sustained presence on the lunar surface. Now, I know you all saw the joy of the science team during Artemis 2. During Artemis 3, we are continuing that great work to build up our scientist corps who will support future Artemis missions. By nailing down our processes now, we will be ready to hit the lunar surface running, saving time and space on Orion, and above all, squeezing out every drop of the critical science opportunities we have before us to make future missions a success. They will be collecting unique science that cannot be done elsewhere. Now, one way we'll be doing this is we'll be doing an observation campaign of the dynamic phenomena on the Earth, on our sun, and around the environment in space from Orion by using the processes that we developed for Artemis 2. Having the Artemis 3 crew observe the Earth will be another great exercise for our teams to help guide the observations in a similar way on the Moon. These methods were adapted from the crew Earth observations proven already aboard the International Space Station. We will be focused particularly on understanding our Earth's atmosphere and the space environment in and around Orion through their observations. By observing Earth's atmosphere and how space weather impacts it, we can better understand how to protect the critical space-based technology there and all of that we rely on, as well as our future astronaut crews traveling through that region.
It's true. Space weather's
to better
no joke.
predict how the sun will impact our atmosphere and also Orion, we have to not only look at our closest star, but we also have to look back at the Earth's atmosphere itself. Although the astronauts are not leaving the protective jacket of Earth's magnetosphere during this mission, future Artemis crews traveling to and exploring on the Moon and Mars will operate well outside Earth's magnetosphere and will be exposed to the harshest elements of deep space, including radiation. Now, this makes space weather research all the more vital as we move forward on the Artemis program, and our NASA space weather stations situated in strategic locations across our solar system are absolutely ready. When the sun triggers space weather events, the conditions in Earth's atmosphere can increase drag on the spacecraft. Now, this friction-like force pushes back against the vehicle, gradually draining its orbital energy and causing it to lose altitude over time, a process that we call orbital decay.
Requiring delta V.
This drag is highly sensitive to solar activity. So by analyzing atmospheric behavior, we can gain insight into different conditions by looking at how the atmosphere slows Orion down at different points in its flight. Understanding the environment outside Orion will also inform us of what future science instruments we could put on the outside of that vehicle. We're also using our ground-based assets across the world to look at Orion in low Earth orbit. And this is an opportunity that was not possible during the Artemis II mission due to the very quick time they spent in LEO. We are also characterizing the Orion capsule itself. We are going to initiate processes for Artemis contamination control and contamination knowledge by bringing samples out of Orion back to curation so we can identify and evaluate the environment within for our astronaut crew and for our future lunar samples. This will help us remove any background noise that may return with our lunar samples, so we can subtract it out of the characterization of the samples and really get to the core of what they are.
Richard, they haven't said them yet,
We'll
but
be doing
hopefully
all of
just in a
this
second here.
while also studying how our crew safely live and operate in space and within the Orion capsule, thereby ensuring future mission success. Now, we're still at the beginning with our planning for science, so stay tuned as there will be more exciting science yet to ride along with Artemis 3.
Yeah, they're dragging it out.
I'm extremely excited for NASA to build upon the success of Artemis 2 and then Artemis 3 and to explore more of the moon, to build that sustained presence and to build our moon base to prepare for the next giant leap, human exploration of Mars. All while we lead the world doing paradigm-shifting science. At NASA, science enables exploration, and exploration enables science. And NASA Science is honored to take our part in the Artemis generation. And with that, I am delighted to hand it back to Administrator Isaacman.
Okay. I mean, the administrator revealing the astronauts makes a lot of sense. Richard, if you're still here, my best guess is it's going to happen shortly. And my guess is that they're sitting next to the Artemis II crew in the stands. So we'll see.
Okay. So you want to find out who the astronauts are?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy, John, Jessica, and Nikki for providing these incredible updates. Now, before we proceed, I would like to invite Vanessa, our center director here, to please join me on the stage. I'd also like our deputy administrator, Matt Anderson, if you could join us, our associate administrator, Amit Thrishia, director general of the European Space Agency, Josef Aschbacher, and Lori Glaze, who's going to lead our human spaceflight efforts, Norm Knight, our flight operations director, and Scott Tingle, our chief astronaut. If you would, please join us on the stage.
Okay. Very good politics right there. And leadership. These are people involved in making this happen behind the scenes. We'll do a little show, a little photo op. You're welcome, Richard. All right.
Now, alongside the prime crew, we have a backup crew member who will train shoulder to shoulder with them to ensure mission readiness and continuity. Test pilot, Air Force Colonel, and former SpaceX Crew 4 pilot stands ready to join the team if necessary, Artemis 3 backup crew member, Bob Hines.
Wow. Backup crew. Some people might be upset, but hey, backup crews are important. Apollo 13 used some backup crew, so it's not like it never happens. and you're training 2 sets of crew anyways, so by the next time it comes around, you've got a more trained crew, and then you've got crew on the ground back at Earth that also understands what's going on with the mission at a really, really deep level. So, backup crew. Would it be great to be on the mission? Yes, but
Now, Bob
still very,
has
very
logged
cool.
170 days in space across 2 ISS expeditions and can step into any role needed on this mission. Now, moving on to our mission specialist for Artemis 3.
He's loving his life right now.
Test engineer and Coast Guard Reserve Commander, making his first space flight,
Rookie.
mission specialist Andre Douglas.
Nice. Go, Andre. Sorry about the graphics. Scott Dingle was there when the Artemis 2 crew came back. Photo up.
And we have Army Black Hawk helicopter pilot, family medicine physician, and record-setting astronaut, mission specialist, Colonel Frank Rubio.
Nice. That's great that Frank gets a spot on the crew. I mean, he did great work on the ISS when the Artemis generation first started. He stayed in space longer in order to compensate for, I forget what anomaly happened, but yeah, it's great to see him get an assignment here. All right, is that the crew? Ooh, Canadian astronaut? Perhaps. Would they do a Canadian and a European astronaut? I don't know.
Now on to our pilot, 2-time flyer, ESA astronaut, the first Italian space station commander, an Italian Air Force colonel and test pilot, Luca Parmitano.
Oh, this is the actual crew. I thought this was the entire backup crew. This is awesome. Man, Luca has been doing this for a while. That's a good pick. He's also the reason we have the ISS Espresso, the coffee machine on the ISS. So they only chose one backup crew member? Interesting. Wow.
Now to our commander, 2-time astronaut, former space station commander, Marine Corps colonel, and test pilot with more than 7,000 flight hours.
He's the test pilot.
Artemis 3 commander, Randy Bresnik.
Wow. High commander energy. High level commander energy. Okay, so no women in this crew. I wonder if they'll go with 2 women on Artemis 4 for the landing. I'm really happy for Frank Rubio, though. He definitely deserves a spot on this crew after all the work he's put in.
Let's give it one more round of applause for your Artemis 3 prime crew.
There they are. There they are, folks. Artemis 3 crew.
Randy, Luca, Frank, and Andre, I am excited to welcome you as the next crew in the Artemis journey to successfully return to the moon, this time to stay. This mission will be one of the most complex that NASA has undertaken, and we are counting on your courage and your dedication in fulfilling this critical role. It also underscores the importance of both international and commercial collaboration. This crew is comprised of astronauts from NASA and ESA, and they will train together to develop their expertise in multiple spacecraft from our commercial partners. All of this while working hand in hand with the flight control team that works tirelessly to manage risk, ensure crew safety, and of course, mission success. This multifaceted integration demonstrates that we will go farther faster when we go together. As the Director of Flight Operations, I have the opportunity to get to know every astronaut as well as many of the team members that support our missions and other critical integral roles. These integrated teams are the backbone of the mission, working as a single entity to accomplish the mission objectives while aligning to crew and vehicle safety. I would also like to thank the families of our astronauts and those of our team members who provide the support that allow us to accomplish these ambitious goals for our country and humanity. To simply say, I am encouraged, I'm inspired, and I'm filled with hope when I think of this mission and the teams associated with it. To the Artemis 3 crew, each of you possess a unique background, and your vast experience and unwavering dedication to NASA's mission enables you to help make us and take this next great step in space exploration. I am proud to work alongside you as we make our mark on history. This mission begins now, and it will conclude with your safe return to Houston, where you will be reunited with your families. Now, I'm honored to turn it over to Mission Specialist Andre Douglas.
Let's go, Andre.
Wow. What an amazing day it is today. My brain, it is going a mile a minute right now.
I can
but
imagine.
my heart, it is so warm. It is so full. And I can't thank everybody who's been along with my journey, but I got a few tonight I got to give a shout out to. So, Mom, thank you so much for believing in me. For believing in me. This whole time. All these years, you prayed for me, you thought about me, and I always appreciate that.
Mom love.
And Dad, that work ethic that you showed, that work ethic, I was trying to emulate you. You. Thank you so much.
Oh,
by the way,
moment.
happy early Father's Day. And to Rachel, my lovely wife.
Dad's amped up.
Thank you, babe. The support you've given is unwavering. It has been a lot. What a journey. I'm so glad you're on this journey with us. It's just amazing. You're amazing. Couldn't have done it without you. I love you so much. And to my boys, if you put in the hard work, and you think big, you can do just about anything you want to do. Surround yourself with good people. You can do this. You can do whatever you want. You just got to try hard. All right? So.
Very sweet. Very sweet.
I don't have enough time to go through everybody out there, but we really appreciate you guys supporting us. This mission is going to be fantastic. What an excellent crew. Very proud to serve with these gentlemen. Very fine crew. And go Artemis, go NASA.
Frank.
Thanks, Trey. Well said. And wow is the right word. What an incredible blessing and an honor it is to be standing here representing all of you. And I'd just like to take a quick second to say thank you, first and foremost, to my wife and our 4 amazing kids. Thank you for your sense of adventure and your resiliency. You guys have made all of this possible. To our... To our community of friends and family who've always been there when we most needed them, we've called upon them many times and they've always stepped up. So thank you guys. You know who you are. And then last but absolutely not least is to the NASA team, NASA community, to our leadership, to our engineers, our flight controllers, our flight directors. You guys are the ones that make this happen. So thank you. And last, but definitely not least, is to our peers, CB, and all the support staff that we have. We look forward to representing you guys and to helping take the next step so that we can watch you guys continue to make history. So thank you, and go Artemis 3.
Man, Italy is crushing it in the space game the last few years.
I apologize in advance if I get emotional. I'm
Italian, getting
honored
emotional.
by the role that I've been given. I'm also very humbled by the task in front of us. But first and foremost, I'm grateful. There are many parts that need to come together for a space launch. And you need a launch pad. And for me, that launch pad is my country, Italy, its education system, the Italian Air Force that gave me the professional tools to bring me here today, the Italian Space Agency that gave me the first flight to put those skills to proof, and for that I'm very grateful. The European Space Agency is like a launch tower, connecting these two worlds, building bridges, its very nature is to build relationships and building bridges, connections, and to elevate individuals to achieve their full potential. The rocket, figuratively and literally, is NASA. I'm grateful that NASA has allowed me to be part of this incredible group of people, of this crew, and for letting me fly. But we wouldn't be going anywhere without fuel, and the fuel that lets everything move is right here. Maya, Sarah, Marta, my extended family here in the crowd. You are the energy that feeds my soul. And your love is the spark that ignites every passion. Thank you. Grazie.
Damn. I got chills, people. That was great, Luca.
I'll echo the amazing words of my colleagues. Wow. It is an honor and a blessing to be a part of such a stellar crew. I must also say thanks to our spouses and our families. Without their support and sacrifice, we would not be standing up here before you right now. To my wife, Rebecca, your love of my life, my rock, thank you. And it's the
loving the humanity.
It is their support of our families that's going to carry forward from today, when we start training very soon, carry us all the way to when we launch off Earth, until we are returned to them safely after splashdown back here on planet Earth. Would also like to thank the Astronaut Office leadership, Flight Operations Directorate, and the NASA Johnson Space Center leadership for the opportunity to represent the astronaut corps and every single person in NASA, ESA, our industry partners, our international partners, whose blood, sweat, and tears, okay, hopefully not blood, and very few tears, but their collective effort will lift all of us up on that SLS rocket when we hit launch day and carry us through the mission. We'd also like to thank NASA leadership and our ESA leadership for the opportunity to represent all of humanity from this spaceship Earth that we will carry forward into the Artemis as we execute this Artemis mission, extending human spaceflight into the future and exploring the cosmos. Now, spaceflight is hard, and that's why the most important Artemis mission will always be the next Artemis mission.
Well said.
Where we are doing flight tests on every single flight, incrementally determining the flight envelope, expanding it, proving out capabilities, and making the operational procedures that we have more and more precise. Because every single mission we will do after this will be more challenging and more complex. We are certainly humbled as a crew to be able to be your crew that executes this Artemis 3 mission in space, being that unifying link between the phenomenal Artemis 2 mission we just had 2 months ago and the Artemis 4 mission that will follow ours, where we will again be the first to land humans on another celestial body, that celestial body being our neighbor in the sky at night, the moon. Thank you.
In the words of the crew, wow. That was truly special. Thank you, Artemis 3 crew. Hearing from each of you has inspired everyone supporting this mission across the globe. We're all in. This mission is going to captivate the world and bring us Earth joy. Let's look ahead at what's in store for Artemis 3.
Get that amazing shot they did for Artemis 2. There she is. Andre Douglas, Frank Rubio, Luca Parmitano, and Randy Bresnik. Yeah, 3 launches. 3 vehicles. This is so awesome. That shot was incredible. Let's go, NASA marketing team. Video. Ooh. Oh, nice shot. Oh, I like that.
Another wow. Artemis brings us together, uniting partners from around the world in pursuit of a common goal. With that spirit of global collaboration, I would now like to invite ESA Director General Josef Aschbacher back on stage for a few remarks.
Damn straight, Andrew.
Wow, what an atmosphere, what a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, days like this do not come often, when history is not something we remember, but something we are about to make. Just weeks ago, at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, I had the privilege of witnessing the launch of Artemis 2. It was an unforgettable moment. Artemis 3 will be a different mission, but no less remarkable. Before anyone sets foot on the moon, someone has to make that possible. That responsibility now rests first and foremost with NASA, but also with the crew we are honoring today. The crew will test what has never been tested at this level. You will take a system of extraordinary complexity and make it work as one. In many ways, you are unlocking the lunar landing itself. And for us at ESA, there is real pride in knowing that alongside the NASA commander, a European astronaut will also be at the controls of this mission. ESA and NASA do more than cooperate. We build dreams and spacecraft together. The European Service Module carries Orion forward into orbit to the moon. Shared ambition made tangible in hardware. And on Artemis 3, our partnership is in the capsule as well. It's Luca, a test pilot by training with 2 missions to space, a commander of the International Space Station. He has seen spaceflight from every angle that matters. Colonel in the Italian Air Force, combat ready, qualified, highly decorated, a proud father of 2 daughters. And he has been tested. During a spacewalk early in his career, his helmet began to fill with water, a dangerous situation by any standard. He handled it with calm and clarity and brought himself back safely. That tells you more about an astronaut than any CV ever could. Luca
Chris Hadfield, too.
is precise, composed, and determined. Yes, I'm sure he brings a touch of Italian ease to the cockpit. He is exactly the right person for this role, and he is ready. At ESA, we are ready as well. Our 23 member states are aligning to step up in exploration, because when you choose to be part of something as ambitious as Artemis, you contribute. That is what we do, what we will continue to do. But today is not about programs. It is about people, those who once went to the moon and those now preparing to return. To Jared, to NASA, to the United States of America, thank you for your leadership and thank you for your partnership. To the crew of Artemis 3, you carry something important for all of us. And to our ESA crew member, we could not have wished for a better pilot. Caro Luca, siamo orgogliosi di te. Buon volo. Thank you all.
Man, there aren't many things to be proud about in the world today as an American, but the leadership here at NASA is definitely making me feel proud. I love that we have this partnership going on around the world.
Director General Oshbacher. Let's now take a look at some special messages recorded by Senator Ted Cruz, Chairman of the Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee, and Representative Brian Babin, Chairman of the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee.
Congratulations on being chosen for the Artemis 3 mission. It's a big damn deal. Following the extraordinary success of Artemis 2, America has entered a bold new era of space exploration and discovery. Under the leadership of Administrator Jared Isaacman, NASA is paving the way for humanity's return to the moon and beyond. As the chairman of the Senate Commerce Committee, I've been proud to author or co-author nearly every major piece of space legislation in the last 14 years. I've led the fight to advance the NASA Authorization Act and secured landmark investments in the Working Families Tax Cut Act to ensure the future of Artemis is bright, robust, and enduring. Now this crew, each of you, will turn those investments into reality. At a time of growing competition with China in space, this mission will strengthen America's leadership, expand our economy, and help secure a lasting American lunar presence. When America commits to a mission, we lead and we succeed. You will make our nation proud. Thank you for your commitment to this great nation's space program, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
Hi, everybody. Congressman Brian Babin. Congratulations to the Artemis 3 crew. Following the successful mission of Artemis 2, your selection marks another historic milestone in America's return to deep space. Each Artemis mission builds upon the last one, and the mission ahead is a critical next step as we prepare to return humans to the lunar surface and lay the foundation for a sustained presence on the moon alongside our international partners. You're carrying forward a very proud tradition of exploration that stretches from Mercury on to Apollo and now to Artemis. Through your dedication, courage, and service, you will help open a new chapter in humanity's journey beyond Earth. As you begin preparing for this mission, please know that you have the support of the American people. We will be praying for your training, for your families, and for your success in the months ahead. I am deeply honored to play a small part in supporting America's space program. I'm very proud of each of you for answering the call to explore. May your mission inspire future generations to dream boldly, to dare greatly, and to carry the spirit of discovery farther than ever before. God bless you. Thank you.
The story of human space exploration continues to inspire, and the momentum carries forward as the spotlight turns to the remarkable crew assembled here today. Randy, Luca, Frank, and Andre, we have a special group of people who would like to share some words with each of you. Joining us now, we have some of the Artemis II crew. Please help me in welcoming Reed, Victor, and Christina.
Very cool handoff. Love that. Love it. Oh, man. Chills all over, people. Chills all over. Those are our heroes and our next set of heroes.
All right, Comrade Randy, Luca, Frank, our backup, Andre, Douglas. So good to see your family out there. So good to see all the families. On behalf of myself, Christina, Victor, and we all know Jeremy wishes he was going to be here today, that he could be here. We just want to say how completely fired up we are for you. I hope you saw us down there cheering, screaming as loud as we could. And Randy, in your comments, I really loved when you said that you all are the link from two to the surface. And that really resonated with me. And you guys know, because you work in the office, we've been carrying these batons around for way too long. And so with that, the Artemis II crew, Comrade, hands you the baton. You got the controls.
Awesome. I love that they picked just two classic NASA commander types for these two missions. The two of them are definitely very similar. Kind of the old classic right stuff
I know all of
aspect.
us are very touched by the thoughtful symbolism of the passing of the baton. But I think now, after your mission, you're passing us something far greater. The world watched your mission. And over the course of those 10 days, we saw how you inspired people worldwide. You saw how something was ignited within people, it was ignited within all of us by watching your mission. While this may look like just a baton, right now it's in my hand, it feels like this big flaming, Olympic torch that you, Reed, Christina, Victor, and Jeremy lit. And the world was entranced by its flame for the 10 days of the mission. We, the Artemis III crew, are honored to be able to carry this torch forward, to be able to execute our mission, to make that flame burn brighter and pass it on.
All right, I'm very excited for this Artemis III crew. They are a riot.
And be able to pass that flame on to the next crew that's out here. And so...
That's out here?
It is our distinct honor and privilege, and echoing the immortal words of Apollo 11's Michael Collins, to be carrying the fire through the next Artemis mission. Thank you.
Very cool. Oh, The Right Stuff. If anyone has not watched The Right Stuff, it's based on history. Some would argue it's not exactly a history, but it's still a fantastic movie, especially if you're getting into space. Highly recommend it. Fantastic movie.
What an incredible moment. As we wrap up today's announcement, I'd like to thank our amazing speakers and our esteemed guests, and most of all, our Artemis 3 crew, Randy, Luca, Frank, and Andre.
Yeah. There they are, folks. Your Artemis 3 crew. Finally here. We finally know who will be testing out the moon landers and preparing Artemis 4 to actually be able to land on the moon.
To embark on this next
Awesome.
giant leap, know we stand united, ready to support you at every turn with mission excellence, pushing the boundaries of what's possible for the benefit of all humanity. Let's give one final round of applause for our crew.
There we have it, folks. Your Artemis 3 crew. Finally announced. And there they go. Off train if they haven't been training already. Amazing stuff, everybody. All right, let's do a quick recap. So we have the 4 astronauts and 1 backup crew member. I was definitely thrown off by that. Usually there's a full complement from what I understand, but maybe Artemis 2 only had a single backup crew member, which is interesting considering in the past I would assume there was an entire crew, but maybe that's just something brand new or something I just missed from last time. If that was new to you, please let me know. But yeah, amazing stuff. Was there anything that surprised anybody? I do want to go back to one question here that I thought was awesome that came in from Andrew. Now that all 3 launches are going to have, are all 3 going to launch in Florida? And that's a really good question. Right now, they're building the Starship pad in Florida. I don't believe it's anywhere near completion. I would assume that it's launching in Texas. And the really interesting thing is that Starship is going to be launching later, and docking later with Orion in the mission. The Origin is going to launch first, which I'm going to assume is because of the pad in Florida. If I had to guess, there's something operationally, perhaps maybe even with like FAA clearance, that the Starship mission is going to take the second seat of getting up there. It's very possible that they're trying to give SpaceX a little bit more time and wiggle room just in case they need to launch a second Starship. But audio issues? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Not sure. The only thing I can guess is that it's my very old Mac. So let's start that off again. Thank you, Andrew. Go back to your question here. Now, are all 3 launches going to happen in Florida, or is Starship launching from Texas still? I know they've been working on a Starship launch pad in Florida. Not sure how the timeline looks. Fantastic question. And I would say that to me, the key there is that you have Starship launching later in the mission, right? It's a 2-week mission, 14 days, and they're going to be having Starship dock at the end of that, and only for 1 day. So to me, that makes me think that this is in fact launching from the Texas launch site. I'm sure that having the Starship launch pad in Florida as a backup would be great, but I don't see that being operational and used for Artemis 3, maybe Artemis 4. I think ideally they would like Artemis 4 to all launch from Florida, but a lot of things need to happen, and you can't rush building the pad. So I think probably Starship will launch from Texas, and that Blue Origin going first and spending all that extra time in orbit is going to be it's going to be interesting. But my guess is Blue Origin and Orion from NASA are going to launch from Florida, Starship launching from Texas, purely on the way that they outline the mission. The other thing that's interesting about Starship being at the end of that 2 week mission and only being docked with for a single day is the possibility of perhaps launching multiple Starship in the event that the first Starship doesn't get up there. So maybe having Starship at the end of that mission profile is kind of an adjustment made for SpaceX in particular, for Starship. But who knows at this point? I think it's a really good question. But if I had to guess, I don't think the launch pad is going to be ready in Florida by the time Artemis 3 comes back. But who knows? I mean, we heard from Blue Origin. They said that they're going to be doing the Blue Moon V1 lander, or V1 and a half. I'm not sure which one it is. But the non-crew lander, they should be launching by the end of this year. They're doing a ton of pad work. It was really nice to see the different uh, big companies involved, right? SpaceX, launch providers, SpaceX, Blue Origin playing well together. Even if that's just politics, and even if that's just to put up a good face for the team, it felt genuine. And at the end of the day, we're all on the same team for the American space program at this point. And Matt made the great point that they better be working together well, especially on the mission where they're docking to the same spacecraft with crew, right? You want those companies talking and sharing as much information as possible because they're going to be working together in such a unique fashion, not only for Artemis 3, but for Artemis 4 and beyond, depending on which lander is available first. NASA seems to be keeping the both contracts, regardless of the situations that are happening. I loved seeing the all the different leadership displayed. It's going to be a very very fun mission. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to stay on a little bit more and chat some more. But that's Artemis 3 crew. Italy is crushing it in the space game. I mean, across the board, they've been doing well. Even back to the Virgin Galactic missions, right? They had an entire Virgin Galactic mission crew that was all Italian Space Agency, right? So they've, for years now, multiple years, Italy has been making tremendous gains in human spaceflight. And this is just another example of that. Luca Parmitano, again, being the sole reason why we have the ISS espresso, the espresso maker on the ISS, but also just being really a fantastic astronaut. I really love seeing the crew compliment. They were funny. They were working together. And see them on stage with the Artemis 2 crew was very special. I did not expect uh, the emotional aspect of that. But that Artemis 2 crew is legendary. And now we're seeing the next crew that's going to be testing the landers in orbit. And so let's talk about that picture they had of the crew in their spacesuits looking at Earth and the moon behind it. Um, that was an amazing picture that really just told the whole story of what's going to happen here. But yeah, folks, thank you for joining us for live today in space. We just covered the Artemis 2 crew that just got revealed. Very much looking forward to more, and of course, um, just these landers getting together, the pad work for Blue Origin getting completed, and more Starship flights throughout the rest of this year, because, as they said, by the end of this year, they need to demonstrate refueling, which is hugely important for Artemis 4. But if they can get the refueling demonstrated before Artemis 3, that is a huge amount of confidence added to them as a launch provider, a lander provider, and a huge capability for what's to come. So thank you for joining us, everybody. This has been a live broadcast of Today in Space. I am your Space Science podcast host from the East Coast, Spaceman Alex. Thank you for joining us. And yes, I was very emotional, especially during Luca's speech. That really got me. And seeing Frank Rubio have the opportunity to go on this moon mission after, spending as much time as he did in orbit during his ISS mission, when we needed that extra crew complement to stay longer in space. Zero G space exploration is very demanding on the body, so it's great to see Frank Rubio get back into space as soon as Artemis 3, after doing such a long stint on the space station. It's a huge shout out to what NASA is doing to make sure that the continued human presence on the space station for the last 20 years has given us a ton of great research and also insight into how do we make sure that the effects of zero G and space travel are mitigated. And so to see Frank Rubio now have the opportunity to launch, that's awesome. As Andrew says here, I'm so excited I could cry. Like, wow, kudos. Same, ditto. I agree. I'm just saying words now because I'm just, my brain is going a mile. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another live broadcast of Today in Space. And if you haven't already, go check out our Space Talkers live broadcast where we had our crew for the splashdown, Matt, Andrew, and Caitlin. It's so nice to meet other space, get the space loving community together, and also meeting new people. Like, I'm so glad that I've met Matt, Caitlin. Andrew and I have been hanging out for a while now, sharing our love about space. I love that we're doing more of these live broadcasts with community members. And a big shout out to Matt, Andrew, and Caitlin. Enjoy Terry Springs, and may you have clear skies. Enjoy meeting a bunch of other folks who are just as passionate about space. And have a great weekend. Have a great week. Enjoy, everybody. I'm out of here. I got to get back to my day. Spread love, spread science. We'll see you